Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Soccer Podcast, Australia's #1 soccer talk show. My name's Shannon, and for this episode, we're asking, is Marko Arnautovic right to move from West Ham to China? And to talk, I'm joined by Alex Smith. Alex, welcome to the Soccer Podcast.
Thanks, mate. Looking forward to it.
All right, well, this is a big one, Alex, because one of the Soccer Podcast fans is a West Ham fan as well, and they want to know a little bit about the situation surrounding Marko Arnautovic. And obviously there's been reports that he's on his way out from West Ham, albeit to China, of all places. Talk us through what you know of that situation.
Well, I guess it's a sort of recent development in the last 4 or 5 years. The Chinese market come onto the scene. The only word to describe it is money. There's just so much money coming out of China that it puts players in a very difficult situation. He's 29 now. He's had a decent career. Played at a few decent clubs. No one really huge, and he would be getting offered a ridiculous amount of money every week to play football. That's a tough decision to make. He's like I said, he's only 29. He's getting to the stage where you start to think about what's going on after I finish playing. In his mind, he'd be thinking, if I don't take it now, will it come up again? Apologies to the fans, but it's only West Ham. It's not like he's leaving. He's not like he's leaving a Real Madrid or anything like that. I actually think West Ham will be better off without him. I think he hurts their team. But as a player, this is something that you have to deal with in the modern era. Do you take the money, or do you stick with a club that may or may not win anything? Even if it's a club that may win something, do you still take the money? So he's in a tough spot. I think he's the type of person that will take the money. And like I said, I think West Ham will be better off for it.
I think it's just absolute greed, Alex. You're right. He is the type of player that will just take the money because of we've seen his body language at West Ham in the last game. He's arrogant. We've seen that when he plays. He's got that sense of arrogance about him. But, is it really the right move for him? Because I just think, he is only 29 years of age. I would say he's still got quite a lot of football left in him. And, he's a talented player. He's played at, I think, Inter Milan as well. They're a big club. West Ham, a big club in their own right. But I think it's the wrong move for him. I think to go to China and take the money, it's just out of greed. He's obviously wanting to pick up that paycheck. But Alex, what's the difference between what he's making at West Ham, probably £200,000 a week, compared to what he'll make in China? He'll make a lot more. But I mean, is there really, when you're a player earning those kind of sums and figures, is there really that much of a difference? Surely you'd want to stay in the Premier League, try and win something, have a little bit of ambition. I think West Ham, possibly he's done well to play there. He really is the talisman at the moment for West Ham. They so often look to him for not just goals but for inspiration as well up top. And I just think West Ham, it could be a good place for him to get that move, maybe to a bigger club. I mean, he's gone from Stoke City, which is his former club, to West Ham. I would say that's a better move, for a career move for him. But I think now at West Ham, he's shown glimpses of quality. And I think if he really wanted to, Alex, he could be playing at a top 4 club, in my opinion. If he's played at Inter Milan and some of the form that he's shown, the quality that he's shown, he could easily be playing at Tottenham, or he easily could. I mean, he's got bags of ability. But I just think going to China, the only reason why he's going to China is to pick up his paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously never made that amount of money. I mean, I had a similar decision whether or not to stay here or go to Malaysia. I think I was 30 at the time, and decided to go to Malaysia because the money was it was just too good to turn down. And everyone says, how could he do that? How could he take the money? How could he, But until you're in the situation and someone's calling you, offering you, $500,000 a week to play football, probably tax free, I might add. So whatever he's making in England, it's 50% of that's going to the taxman, as a footballer in England. So straight away, his wages are cut in half. China, he gets to live like a king. As a footballer, I mean, he could go out and do his ACL, have a career-ending injury tomorrow. You just don't know. This is the dilemma of the modern footballer. Never again will we see the class of '92 at Man United, where everyone sticks together, tries to win trophies. It's all about winning trophies. It's not about the money. The game of football has just changed so much that money is everywhere. It clouds your judgment. It makes you, it asks you a big question. Do you take that money, or do you stick to your quote unquote morals, or he might not care about playing in the Premier League.
Well, he might not, and it looks like he doesn't. But, I mean, he's earning, obviously, a decent amount of money where he is. Is that not good enough to, still live like a king, in your words, and still be playing in the best league in the world? I mean, to go to China, they are attracting, other talent, but, and obviously they all go there only for one reason. But, he's making a fortune of money as it is, so why leave? And once you go to China and he does pick up that money, then, he's going to maybe have difficulty getting himself maybe at a top 4 club, in terms of career progression.
Yeah, I mean, but this is the modern day football, and no one cares about career progression. No one, to find someone who cares about winning trophies or winning really, and doesn't really look out for themselves. That's a very rare thing these days. Again, people, fans, whoever, they don't realize that people are different. Footballers are different. Marko Arnautovic is not Lionel Messi. Messi stayed with the same club. He's never leaving. He loves it. All he wants to do is win. Arnautovic, might come from a different background. He might, all they want is to make as much money as he can and then get out. And for some people, I know footballers that don't even like football. I hated it at one stage. So, that could be something weighing on his mind as well. And again, he's played 3 years at Stoke, 2-3 years at Stoke, and now he's at West Ham. He's probably thinking to himself, I'll be 30 this year. If I haven't made it to Man United or somewhere by now, what's the point? I will sign my 2-3 year deal in China, and
It's a good point you make, though. I mean, some footballers, you're right, they play the game because they don't want to necessarily win things. It is their job. I remember at Tottenham a few years ago, we had the left back Benoit Essekotu. Remember him with the camera?
Yeah.
He used to say, it's just a job. He doesn't enjoy it. It's not his passion. He's just there to do his job, and football's his job. So you're right. It's a good point you raised that for different people, it just depends, what their mindset is and what they aim to achieve. And, maybe at 29, you're right. I mean, maybe he's not going to get that move to a top 4 club, and maybe he's just looking to take it and bank it all now while he can. Because you're right, it might not come up again, that move to China, but I just feel personally that he still has a lot to offer. At 29, I think the quality, what we've seen in the Premier League, at Stoke City, talisman, at West Ham, talisman, what he brings to the game, his physicality, his strength, his speed, his skillful play, he scores goals. He's a very good player. So I just kind of feel, from my perspective, going to a far lesser league at only 29 and just taking the money when he's already earning such a fortune, why would you do that? But, again, that's up to him. And there's reports anyway, Alex, that Callum Wilson, the Bournemouth striker, could be the one to replace him. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I think West Ham will be much better off with Callum Wilson in the side than they would Arnautovic. I think he's the type of player that like I would call him a luxury player. I don't think he gives you enough on the defensive side of the ball. I think he does things that aren't always best for the team. Whereas someone like Callum Wilson, he's come from a team that's pretty much all about the team. Unselfish player, but also knows how to score goals and find the back of the net. So I think personally they'll be much better off without him. And Marko will probably be much better off without West Ham, if I'm perfectly honest, because it seems that that's the type of player he is, and fair play to him. That's his thing, and everyone's different and each to their own. So I think it's a win for all parties. West Ham probably going to get a healthy transfer fee. I'm not sure the details of the deal, but I think it's a win-win for everyone.
And Callum Wilson's obviously a very capable striker. We've seen this season his form's got him a England call-up. It's made his debut. I think he even scored. So he's a very capable striker. But I think, he might not be as versatile, just maybe a smaller point. He might not be as versatile as someone like Marko Arnautovic. You obviously can play up top as a striker, but also on the wing as well. Callum Wilson's more of an out-and-out striker, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. I think Chicharito might be on the move as well. I think I read that somewhere. I'm not too sure, but they definitely need to replace him, and I don't think they'd let him go unless they had a replacement lined up. So they need that target man, and Callum Wilson will do that, and he'll only kick on. He'll have much better service, and he scored goals with fairly poor service anyway. So. Looking forward to seeing what happens.
Yeah, it's interesting how we're talking about the attacking third. Marko Arnautovic and Callum Wilson potentially being the one to replace him. We know that West Ham have got a wealth of attacking talent with Chicharito, Felipe Anderson, Yarmolenko. He started the season so brightly before he got injured. They got that absolutely abundance of talent in that final third. But where they really need to strengthen, Alex, is defensively. And all the talk seems to be around Arnautovic, Callum Wilson, but they really got to strengthen up at the back. I mean, they just all season, that's where they've really struggled, especially early on. They've managed to then fix it up a little bit under Pellegrini as the season's gone on. But really, they need to, sort their back line out because they leaking goals, more often than not.
Yeah, I mean, the old saying, "Defense wins championships." It's true. So you can put their inconsistent form down to probably their defensive liabilities. But depending on the fee they get for Arnautovic, they might be able to use some of that on to be able to strengthen their back line. So at the end of the day, it's like I said, it's probably a good decision for everyone. It's a good business decision for West Ham, I think, if they can get some funds to go after a quality centre back. Then it's like I said, it's a win-win for everyone. I'm not sure who's going to cost more money, Arnautovic or Wilson, because I'd imagine Wilson would cost quite a bit of money, but I'm not sure on his contract status at the moment. He might be coming off contract soon, so
English player as well, Wilson. He definitely cost a little bit more as well, just based on the fact that he is an English player and FIFA, the financial fair play rules and all that kind of thing, definitely would be taken into account.
Yeah, like I said, if he's coming off contract at the end of the year, I'm not sure his situation. He won't be costing that much, but I dare say that Wilson will cost much less than Arnautovic than they're going to get for him. Especially going to China, the Chinese will pay, there's no real cap on what they'll pay for someone that they want. So hopefully they can use a bit of that money to strengthen at the back as well.
All right, well, everyone, that brings us to the end of this episode. We asked Alex and we talked a little bit about why should Marko Arnautovic, should he move to China or should he stay at West Ham? Alex, your final thoughts would be that he should just go because they'll be better off without him. I still think I would like to see Marko stick around in the Premier League. He's got an abundance of talent, but maybe it's a question for him whether he wants to be greedy or not and take the money. But Alex, thanks for joining me for this episode.
No worries. What would you
around. I mean, you know me and my thoughts. I think a big fan of the Premier League. I don't think there's anything in the world, league-wise, Alex, that compares to it. I know China has a lot of money that they're splashing around and all types of players, but I just think, 29 as a footballer, you still got, time to play, and I think he's earning enough money. I would stick around, and I'm ambitious enough to put money to one side. If you got that amount of talent, which Marko does, I would be sticking around and trying to earn that move from West Ham to maybe a bigger club like Tottenham, or there's no reason to say either that someone like him couldn't play at a Liverpool or a Chelsea. I mean, if Xherdan Shaqiri, for example, is playing at Liverpool, then there's no reason to say that Marko Arnautovic can't be doing the same. Do you agree with me? I mean, look at Shaqiri and they've had a similar path. They both played at Stoke. They both, they've both been a journeyman. I think Shaqiri was at Inter Milan himself and then Bayern Munich. So I see similarities between the two of them, and I think Shaqiri's done exceptionally well. And look, bargain buy from Stoke for £13 million to Liverpool. There's no reason why a player of Marko Arnautovic's caliber couldn't be playing at a Liverpool, for example.
Oh, I don't think he's that good. I don't think Shaqiri works hard for the simple reason that's the reason Shaqiri got a move to Liverpool, because he works hard defensively. He puts in, and Arnautovic is never going to be that player. It's not just going to suddenly magically happen. So I think I just don't think it could happen. So why not go to China? He's probably getting, he signs a piece of paper and he's probably getting £5 million just for signing a piece of paper. A big, a signing bonus, something like that. I mean, that's tough to just go, no, you know what, I'm going to stick here and in London and work hard and, freeze my nuts off every day and, And
hopefully Liverpool or Chelsea or Tottenham come. He's not going to do that, I think he's if the money is there, he's going to take it. I know. Yeah. We've seen the body language. We've seen even in the last game the way he waved goodbye to the West Ham. So it looks like he's going. But Alex, thanks for joining me for this episode. And everyone, if you enjoyed this episode as well, smash the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram @The Soccer Podcast. But from the Soccer Podcast team, it's goodbye for now.